Hi guys, and welcome to today's video on Netapp Snapvault. Today we're going to be showing you how to use the Netapp Snapvault technology to basically archive from our primary storage volume across to our secondary storage volume. So there's a couple of options that we can do this with. We can either do this between two filers as a source and destination, or a primary and secondary, or we can simply do this on the one filer between two volumes. So in this tutorial, I'm going to be using one filer and I'm going to be using a primary volume which is located on aggregate 0 and a secondary volume which is located on aggregate 1. So let me show you this. In our system manager, I've created a volume called Snapvault primary which is sitting on aggregate 0, and currently it's just 1 gig. And basically inside here I've just got a CIF share with a few files. And this is our Snapvault secondary volume, which will be our destination. So as we go through the configuration, I'll be sure to point out what changes you need to make if you are doing this to a secondary filer. And that way we'll be able to cover both topics in this video. But if you have any questions, please leave a comment or post a question over in my forums in www.sysadmintutorials.com/forums. And just post a new thread in the Netapp section. So with the volumes, I've gone through and created queue trees, because that's one of the prerequisites for Snapvault at this stage, is Snapvault will only work with queue trees. Now if I go across into our shares, you can see I've created a share called Snapvault primary, which is actually sitting in the queue tree, and the full path located here in the Snapvault primary volume and queue tree Snapvault primary. Now if I open up my Explorer, I've browsed to my filer name, which is san3. So I've just done / san3, and this is our share name here called Snapvault primary. And as you can see, I've got a couple of files in here, nothing too big, but what we're going to be doing is snapvaulting this across over to our Snapvault secondary, and we'll also be creating a schedule. So for the demonstration purposes, I'll be creating a short schedule so that we can demonstrate all the snapshots being taken place and the retention periods. So now let's jump into the CLI of our san3 filer. So I'm just going to use PuTTY, and I'll open up san3. I'll just log in as root. Okay guys, one of the first things that you want to check is that you are licensed for Snapvault primary and secondary if you are using one filer. If you are using two filers, if we're logged into the source filer, you want to make sure that you have Snapvault ONTAP primary, which is actually this license here. And then on your destination filer, you want to make sure that you have Snapvault ONTAP secondary. So I'm just doing this on the Netapp simulator using version 8.11. So once we've verified that we've got these licenses enabled, we'll go through and check the options for Snapvault. Now these are the default options in Snapvault. I haven't changed anything at this stage. But two things that we want to look at here is the snapvault.access. At the moment it's set to none, which means that no destination filer is able to connect to this source filer. And I'm just going to mention here also that nearly all the Snapvault commands that are issued, for example when we first initiate a baseline, it's all done on the destination filer. If you have two filers, a source and a destination, you'll be doing most of your commands on the destination. If you're setting this up on a single filer, which I am in this demonstration, we'll be doing our commands on this filer only. So we'll point out as I go along which commands need to be on the destination if you are using two filers. But for now, if you're using a single filer, like I am in this demo, we want to change the options snapvault.access to host equals, and then the host name, which in this instance is san3, and I'll press enter. So another thing, you just want to make sure that you've got snapvault.enable on. So if you're running with two filers, you would want to add this command onto your source filer. So you would put on your source filer options space snapvault.access space and then host equals and then your destination filer. So what this does, it allows access from your destination filer to your source filer. So without this command, you will be seeing some access denied messages popping up on the CLI screen. If you're using a single filer like I am here, we just enter in the filer's host name as I did in this example. So now we're ready to create our baseline. So to create the baseline, if you're using a single filer, you'll enter in this command here obviously. If you are using a two filer setup, you would want to enter this command on the destination filer. So the command that we need to enter is snapvault space start minus capital S, the filer name, colon, /vol / the source volume. My source volume is snapvault primary / and then the qtree. So qtree snapvault primary. And then we do space. And now we'll enter in our destination. So in this case, our destination is the same filer. So I'll be entering in san3. But if you're doing this on a two filer setup, then on your destination filer, you'll be entering that name here. So I enter san3 :/vol /snapvault secondary, which is the name of the volume, and qtree snapvault secondary. As you remember, guys, we don't create the qtree in the CLI or via the GUI. We let the snapvault create it for us ourselves, and this is just for the destination. So we've got our command in, so let's press enter and our snapvault baseline will be created. Now let's type in snapvault status, and I'll just expand this window a bit. Okay, so it's pretty quick because I didn't have many files in the share. As you can see, I've only got pretty much less than 2 megabytes in there. So it's completed its baseline at this stage. And if I go into the qtrees now and I hit refresh, you'll see that the snapvault has created the secondary and the status is snapvaulted. Also on the volumes, if I go into snapvault secondary and have a look at the snapshot copies, you can see here that it's created a snapshot, and you can see that the dependency is snapvault at the end here. So we've gone through and we've created our baseline. So one thing that we want to do on the destination volume also is we want to remove any default snapshot schedules. So to do that, we just type in snap sched, the name of the destination volume, and then 0 space 0 space 0. And if we type in snap sched, you'll see here that we've got snapvault secondary is 000, and I've previously also set snapvault primary to 000 as well. Okay guys, so we've cleared the snapshot schedules on both our primary and secondary volumes. Now we'll actually be creating a snapvault schedule on the source volume, followed by creating a snapvault schedule on the secondary volume. So on the primary volume, we'd probably be looking at keeping a short retention period, whereas on the secondary volume, we'd probably be looking at creating a longer retention period. So let's jump into creating our snapvault schedule on the primary volume. So with that, we'll type in snapvault, snap sched, the name of the primary volume, which is snapvault primary, and then the name of the snapshot that we would like to create. So I'm going to type in snapvault primary _ hourly, and I'm going to put a retention of 5, and we want to create the hourly snapshots every hour between 8 AM and 8 PM. I'll press enter. Now I'm going to be creating another schedule on the primary volume. So snapvault snap sched, volume name, and then the snapshot name. This one's going to be daily. So for daily snapshots, I'm going to keep 5 of these, and I want my daily snapshots to run at midnight. So I'll put 0 and press enter. The last schedule that we're going to create, snapvault snap sched snapvault primary. The name of the snapshot, snapvault primary underscore weekly. So it's going to be our weekly schedule, and we may only want to keep 2 weeks, and we'll run this at 1 AM every Sunday. Press enter. Now to see our schedules, let's type in snapvault snap sched and sched and press enter. And that produces our snapvault schedules there, so you can see what's happening on the primary volume. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll create our snapvault schedules on our destination volume or destination filer. So just remember, the previous snapvault snap sched commands were done on the primary filer for the primary volume. Okay, so now we need to create the snapvault schedule on the secondary filer or on the secondary volume, which will be your destination. So to do that, we type in snapvault snap sched -x. So -x will trigger a snapvault update from the primary to the secondary. We type in the snapvault destination volume, which will be snapvault secondary, and then the name of the snapshot that we created on the primary. So we'll start with the dailies, primary underscore hourly, and we'll keep a retention of 10, and we'd like to trigger them between 8 AM and 8 PM on the hour. And we're going to do the same for dailies, and we'll keep 10 of those also, and we'll have them happen at midnight. And the last one is our weeklies, which we will keep 5 of, and also have them happen on 2 AM Sunday. The reason why I've got 2 AM instead of 1 AM, as you can see here in the previous schedule, is just so that it has time to create the snapshot on the primary volume and then do a snapvault update, and the weeklies will always be at the latest snapshot. So I'll press enter there, and if we do a snapvault snap sched, we can see here got our snapvault schedule set up, and basically now we just need to wait for the hour to occur, and once the hour is up, we'll see a snapvault update trigger and a snapshot being created on the secondary destination filer with the names snapvault primary underscore daily, hourly, and weekly. So I'm going to pause the video here, and we'll come back in about half an hour's time when it is 9 PM here, and then I'll be able to show you the snapshots that have been created. Hi guys, we're back. Actually, I didn't resume the video straight away at 9 PM. I've actually left SnapVault running for a few days, and this is a good thing, so I can show you more snapshots. So let's have a look at what snapshots we have available now on the primary volume. So I'll just type in snap list snapvault primary, and you can see here we've got a few hourlies that have been created and also a few dailies. So I haven't let it run more than a week. Actually, today is Saturday and it's now 5:30 PM. The weekly is going to kick in on Sunday, so actually tomorrow. So I can only show you the hourly and dailies that have been created so far. And let's have a look at the snap list that's been created on the destination, which is snapvault secondary. So as you can see on the secondary one, the retention is much higher, so we've got many more snapshots available to us. So the next question I guess everyone's got is, how do we access our backup snapshots on the primary volume and on the secondary volume? So to do this with our SIFT share, On our primary volume, we just want to make sure that we've got one option ticked. And if we go to snapshot copies, configure, and we've got this option here, make snapshot directory visible. So as long as you've got that ticked, we can browse through our Snapvault snapshots. And to do that, what we can do is, I've got my share open at the moment, so san3/snapvault primary, so I've got a couple of files in here. So if I want to go into one of the snapshots, I can simply go / tilde and then snapshot. And here we have access to all of our backup copies on the primary volume. And to access it, we simply just browse into it and grab the file and copy it back to the original location. So as I mentioned previously, I've only got a few daily snapshots that have been created and a few hourly ones. I don't have any weekly ones at this stage. If you don't have access to the snapshot directory, if you're getting a path cannot be found or an error message, you need to go into your filer and go into options, sifs.show_snapshot, and make sure that this option is on. If the option is set to off, obviously you're not going to see this snapshot directory. Now, one thing I've done in the background, I've actually created a SIF share for my Snapvault secondary volume and the queue tree within that volume. So if I go back to my filer called san3, you'll see here I've got a queue tree Snapvault secondary, which is the share name. If I go into here, I've got access to my files. So this is on the destination volume or destination filer. And here we can basically do the same thing as what we did on our primary, and that's just do a / tilde snapshot, and we have access to all of our dailies and hourly and weeklies when they get populated. So here is our longer retention period, so we can pull out some files from here. Nothing's changed since I actually put the file in, so they're all going to be exactly the same. But you just find the one that you want and just copy the file out and put it back to the original location. So that completes this tutorial on Netapp Snapvault. If you have any questions, please post a comment or head on over to my forums, www.sysadmintutorials.com/forums, and please feel free to post a thread in the Netapp section asking any questions that you like about Snapvault. So thank you very much again, and we'll see you in the next video.